You ready for this? Oh, here we go. Little buzz. Jamie Myers is the business manager at Strategic Financial Solutions. Joining the company 5.5 years ago, she works with the president and the vice president to round out the leadership team and execute on the mission and vision of their company. As the business manager, Jamie is responsible for maintaining an efficient operation, maximizing the efforts, efficiencies, and talents of team members to allow for the best quality service to the advisors, existing and prospective clients. Jamie is also responsible for the financial facets of the firm and oversees the administrative staff functions of Strategic Financial Solutions. Coming from a background of 15+ years in product sales and service management, Jamie plays a key role in directing and coordinating team activities, training new and existing team members, as well as overall firm management. When not working, you can find Jamie cheering on her 2 kids in various sports. She's a firm believer in leaving this place better than she found it and works diligently to find opportunities to give back with her family in a variety of ways. Anything from filling a semi for hurricane relief, to making 500 blankets for the homeless shelter, to assisting in a kids camp designed to be the change you wish to see in the world. And she's also on the Go Red for Women committee with me. So it's my pleasure to introduce Jamie. Go ahead, Jamie.
Thank you, Miss Jamie. Okay, so thanks for that long intro. I apologize for that. I didn't know it was sent over, so thanks for reading it all. So welcome everybody. It looks like we have kind of a large crew, which is exciting. Jamie, can you give me a thumbs up if you can hear me okay? Okay, good. So like Jamie said, my name is also Jamie, and today I want to spend a little bit of time discussing all that's encompassing with a mentor-mentee relationship. So you're going to hear lots of stuff about mentors, but I also am going to take a few minutes to discuss the difference between a mentor, an advisor, and a coach. 3 very different things that serve different functions on your career path, but all very important on that path to growth to a successful career. I also want this to be interactive. So Jamie, if you can monitor the chat and the questions, if anyone is thinking of something, please ask. Chances are with the number of people on here, if you're thinking of a question, someone else is as well. So be the leader and ask it. So I was going to share my screen, but I feel like I'm going to mess it up. So I'm going to just read some of the quotes as we go through them. Because it'll make it less stressful for me and you'll be able to see my face more, which is not necessarily a good thing. But so a quote that I found as I was preparing for this is, a mentor is someone who sees more talent and ability within you than you see in yourself and helps to bring it out of you. Okay, so that's a really big, deep philosophical quote, but so far in your life, you've probably experienced a mentor in the shape of your parents. They have a funny way of seeing things in you that you don't see, and you may not realize it till later in life on what a mentor they have been to you so far. You may have seen it in a coach, in a college professor. Maybe you did an internship somewhere else already. So people that have had an impact in your life, whether or not they know it or not, okay? So there are a few different kinds of mentors, and I know Jamie touched on it a little bit. So you can have a mentor in the workplace, which I'll discuss more of that mentor relationship and how it can grow from an advisor role into a mentor. But then you also have them in your personal life. You have them in your community. I kind of think of, if I had a boardroom in my brain, who are the key people I would want sitting around saying, Jamie, here's what you should do to help keep you on track in life. So I'll ask you a little bit of a question a little later, but a mentor, if we go kind of to the work piece of it, they're there to give you wisdom about their career path, where your career could take you, give you guidance, give you support, give you motivation. But the key in a mentor at work is that they provide you with a good role modeling, okay? So usually mentors at work are not the ones that are sloughing off looking how they get their next vacation day. And hopefully they are also not the ones on the flip side of that are workaholics and completely ignoring the work-life balance, okay? If there's one thing that my mentors around my boardroom have taught me, it's work-life balance is a real thing, okay? And I'm happy to share more on that another day, but I could talk for 45 minutes just on that if I wanted to. So like I discussed, in that work mentor relationship, they're probably going to start as an advisor. And I'll talk to you a little bit more about the details of what an advisor is, but that relationship that can grow, the inspiration that can grow about seeing what this person has done with their career could very much turn into that mentor relationship. Mentors in a nutshell are going to be someone you look up to. They have amazing things happening in the world that you witness them living in, because they put themselves out there and they're willing to put themselves out there. And then they're the ones that are willing to put their arm around you and say, hey, drink the Kool-Aid with me. Let's go do this. Like, let's go be awesome together. So a lot of people your age and in this stage of your career is probably thinking like, okay, this sounds awesome, but how the heck do I get one of these? You know, as I said, you probably already have someone you're thinking of in your head, and we'll go there in a minute. But so how many mentors can I have? How do I get one? Before you get there, I want you to know what great qualities of mentors are, okay? So you're going to think of people that have relevant experience, whether or not it's professionally or personally. They have knowledge and they're enthusiastic about sharing that knowledge, okay, and sharing that experience. I feel like most mentors that I know are at the very upper echelon level of being respectful in all situations. They're very eager to invest and share any tidbit that could help you along your journey. They have the ability to give honest and direct feedback. I would ask for a show of hands, but I can't see you on how many people really love to get honest and direct feedback. But it is a pivotal piece of a mentor-mentee relationship, okay? And then they have that reflective listening piece, I think. They're able to show empathy and really meet you where you're at and see what value they can provide to you. And then they love to hear back from you on what's working and what hasn't. So I found another quote that I'd have on a slide, but it's okay. So mentorship happens organically and you can't just force it. Many people don't even know how to mentor and often mentor others by accident. It's not a mentor's responsibility to mentor, but it's the responsibility of the mentee to seek mentorship and appreciate it. So I can be a mentor all day long, but if that person is not picking up anything that I'm putting down, it's a moot point, right? We're not going to get very far with each other, and I'm not going to be able to help you advance if you will not turn your brain onto that thinking. So as I said before, your mentors are going to be the role models in your life. Take a couple of seconds, close your eyes, I can't see you, but answer in the chat if you feel comfortable. Who is someone that you would be proud to be? So who is someone that you would be proud to be? Okay, so I'll give you a couple of seconds to think about. I'm sure there's that one person that's going to pop out immediately, but then all of a sudden maybe there's going to be these other people that filter and say, ooh, this characteristic, Jeff Bezos, I like it. So, you know, this characteristic I love of this person, this characteristic I love of this person. So if it's someone that you know, chances are perfect. That's a mentor, okay? They may not know it yet. And again, maybe you thought of 3 people, okay? I'm going to have 4 mentors that I really rely on, probably on a bi-weekly basis. that I keep in touch with, very close touch with, and we just have that great relationship. But I have a multitude of other people that are kind of around my boardroom that I will pluck them out if I'm really feeling that I need help in a certain aspect of my career. So now that you have that person, think about this to really say, okay, no, I think it's a mentor, but I'm not sure. Are they a source of wisdom for you? Okay, is this person a source of wisdom? Do they encourage you to find the answer by asking questions that make you uncomfortable? That's a big one, okay? Do they make you think sometimes, like when you're in a decision, perhaps figuring out your career path or your major or things like that? Oh my gosh, what would so-and-so do? Like I'm up against the wall, what would so-and-so do? Okay, so if you feel like that person really allows you to answer those questions on, yeah, this person is someone I would ask what they would do. That they would encourage me to get uncomfortable and dig for the answer instead of just feeding me the answer. Chances are deepen that relationship. You have the opportunity to do that and really submerge yourself in a great mentorship. A good mentor teaches you how to think and not what to think. Okay, so just like that guy above that I read that really long quote, you know, it's the primary responsibility falls on your shoulders to really progress the mentorship, but you also have to really have your eyes open on what kind of mentor you want. Okay. So you find your mentor, and you have kind of two opportunities. So let's say you're starting in the workforce, you meet these people in the community, you say, I think this is a conversation worth, looking into, a relationship potentially being established here. So there's two choices once you realize that you want this person to be a mentor, okay? You can either be very formal, okay? You can present them and say, hey, I really appreciate the opportunity to share your wisdom with me. I've already learned so much from you. Would you be a mentor to me? So you can ask very direct. You can set the table on things like, how often do you want to meet? What areas do you want them to work on with you? We'll talk more about that, but not just the baby steps of the career. It's the big picture. It's how do I get to where you are? Like, how do I get where I'm visioning that I want to go? How do you help me get there? And then on top of that, establishing, responsibilities. So I'd love for you to come to the table with some ideas to really push me to grow as a person in my career path. And then I want you to hold me accountable for those things. So that's going to be more of the formal side of it. And then there's the informal side. So I really stink at being formal. I'm very informal and kind of like a flying squirrel. You don't usually know what direction I'm going. And my mentorships have all started, can we grab a cup of coffee? I chat with them. I see how I feel through the conversation. And then I'm like, can we have another cup of coffee? And that's it. And you can just ask as easy as that. Would you care if we just meet every few weeks and just chat about things? When I started in my role almost 6 years ago, I had zero idea about anything in the financial industry. And actually a really funny tidbit is I never wanted to be in the financial industry, and here I am, and I'm loving it, okay? But a gal that is a very close mentor to me was in a sister company, or kind of a related company to me, and I just asked her, like, you've been in the industry for 30 years, and I have zero idea what I'm doing, and I have to give advice to these humans that report to me. Can I just bounce stuff off of you as I have it? So randomly, we'd have lunch, we'd have coffee, we'd have dinner, whatever, probably once a week. And she is one of my most cherished mentors. Now that I take a breath, I have all of these notes here because I could talk for days on this. But so let's move. So you have an idea on your mentors. What are your responsibilities, whether or not it's a formal introduction or an informal cup of coffee, okay? Once you realize that this could be a mentor and that you are really gaining some stuff out of them, or you want to, here are things you have to do. You have to be coachable, okay? You have to ask for feedback, and honest, raw, how can I be better? How could I do better, okay? You have to listen. Listen for takeaways and be gracious that this person is giving you these takeaways, and then follow up with them and say, oh my gosh, you have helped me so much in this piece. It took me a few weeks, but I have changed this habit dramatically or something. So be respectful of their time. Like Jamie said, a lot of times these mentors are going to be in very busy positions. So because you are engaging in a cup of coffee, please be a student, like drink the Kool-Aid, hear what they're saying. And then I think to make sure that the conversation goes down a path you really want it to, you need to ask questions. So you can ask them questions in kind of 4 categories. I kind of balanced them out, and I can get these to Jamie if Jamie can circulate them around. I don't know if that's, but stories, situations, self-awareness, and skill building. I'll run through these kind of, but a story, how'd you get in your current role? Was there a time you messed up and you felt like you failed? And then how did you get back, to good? Situations. My boss told me in my review that I am not approaching people with respect. How do I change that? Self-awareness. So this is that really raw, helping you to learn things about you. Where do you see my strengths? How do you feel that I can communicate things better? So you're asking for them to pull things out of you that you can immediately input in your life. And then the skill building. So I know Jamie alluded to it. One of the most awkward things is asking for a raise. So chances are that person that's your mentor has done that a time or two. So pick their brain and ask them, like, can we situationally role play in something? Okay, that's going to help your skills build. So I'm sure your brain's swirling a little bit. I'm going to pivot because we talked all about mentors so far. Chances are when you're starting your new career, you are going to potentially be in a mentorship or an internship program, and you're going to have someone, more of an advisor, that's assigned to you at first, okay? So an advisor is someone that helps you with shorter term goals, okay? They have direct experience in what you're doing on a day-to-day basis. So it's someone that's in a higher up position in what you're doing, like you're level 1, they're level 3. They have more details on what they can share with you and how you can succeed at your current role. Okay, not necessarily how to get to the next ladder rung or what kind of leadership skills you should obtain, but how to press this button, how to do this process, things like that. So a lot of times if these people, maybe you're hired as an HR person and this person's getting ready to retire, it could easily build into a mentorship because this human is going to give you their wisdom. Okay, so that's how an advisor moves into the mentorship. Okay, so once they start sharing their wisdom, they want to meet with you more often, help you see the bigger picture on really where you could go, where you could move. That is going to move from an advisor to a mentor. Okay, so the last piece is a coach. Coaches are super important, especially if you are in a leadership role. A lot of times they're hired and paid, but they're there to facilitate growth in a specific area, not related to the pressing of the buttons in your day-to-day role. So questions that you could have for your coach would be, how should I define success for my team this month? How do I change the culture in a positive way with my team? How do I choose to make a decision that's best for the growth pattern of the vision of my company? So those are going to be more coaching questions, okay? So mentor, advisor, coach, all 3 super important, but I do think that the key to all of this stuff is just really you driving your path. So again, if I'm seeking out a mentee, if that person has 0 desire to be mentored by me, I should not be seeking them out, okay? I've actually had some people that have attempted to have cups of coffee with me, and I'm never going to turn it down. Never turn down a cup of coffee if someone asks you, especially if they're in the leadership role, because there's going to be a nugget that you can pull from that, okay? So if there's one piece that you can take from that, never turn down a conversation that could lead somewhere. But I've walked away from some of the most awkward cups of coffee saying, wow, no, I would never want to have another cup of coffee with them. That is not how you should feel about entering a mentor-mentee relationship, okay? So going back to the thoughts that could be swirling in your brain, okay? So success of a mentorship, okay? So make sure your mentor, just like I chatted with that cup of coffee, make sure they're a natural fit. Find someone who inspires you, okay? Someone that you're like, how did they do that? They talk to that person and I know that they don't like that person. How do they get through that? Or something like that. Find someone who you can actually feel comfortable talking about your fears, maybe a potential career path change, stuff that makes you uncomfortable. Make sure that that's something that you feel comfortable sharing. A couple of don'ts is do not ever enter into a mentorship expecting to get X, get Y, or get Z out of it, okay? You should have a generalization on where you want this relationship to go, but you should never think, well, if I don't learn about this, this, or this, they're out. Never, never, never expect your mentor to solve your problems, okay? They might ask you situationally how you would tackle something else close to it, but never ask them to lay out what do I do here? So a thought to leave you with is the key to a good mentor is to help people become more of who they already are and not someone that's more like you. So if you put your mentor hat on and you're able to mentor someone someday, the goal is never to make them be like you. The goal is just kind of like in that parent role that you want to pull things out. You want your mentor to pull things out of you that you say, oh my gosh, I never realized I was so good at this until this person pushed me to get uncomfortable. And then the last piece of advice is, I know you've had your parents, your coach, your college professor, someone else that's been a mentor so far for you in some capacity. They may not know it until you actually tell them thank you. So make sure you thank your mentor, whether or not they know you're a mentor or they've been a mentor to you or not. Thank them, let them know how they've helped you grow, let them know how they've pushed you to be uncomfortable, and let them know really how they've lit a spark in you. That will energize that mentor more than anything else in this world and encourage them to continue to pay it forward so you can then pay it forward as a mentor someday. So I have zero idea how long I've been talking, but are there questions or anything right now?
And you can put those in the chat and we'll have some time later too, but I do have one really quick one for you, Jamie. And
Yeah.
Can you share, because, this is all about people, right? They're just people. And sometimes it's intimidating to approach somebody who's got a title. It's just a person. They were right where you were at one point and they're just people. So can you share like maybe one of your more funny moments that you had as a mentor or on either side as a mentor or a mentee? Can you share like just a funny story that stuck with you over the years?
Sure. Okay. So one of my mentors, I've known her for years and years since I was young. And I always admired her ability to speak in front of people. And it hit me years later that she would always tell these stories. But so the story that she told me still sticks with me. And I try to get like some embarrassing stories to tell when I'm public speaking. And she is like a very small woman. And long story short, she was asked to get off of an airplane because the plane was at weight capacity. And like here, I mean, this lady couldn't have weighed more than $130. But her willingness to go out there, and she had the whole crowd laughing because here's this lady telling the story in front of 800 people. And so like that has stuck with me, that I try to think of if I'm going to be public speaking somewhere on what's one little thing that like cuts my tension in my brain. So
we did have one question come through from Dylan. He wants to know, how do you accomplish this in the virtual world?
Good question. So I know everyone's probably over the virtual cup of coffee a little bit, but I think that's a really great lead in because you don't have to go and meet somewhere and worry about health reasons or things like that. But the virtual cup of coffee is always really great. Or if you're in a situation that you are able to join any networking events where you know these people will be. So there's a lot of opportunities to do some of those virtual events where you can kind of be exposed to a lot of different personalities if you don't have a mentor. And you can kind of pick and choose like, oh, that person totally sounds like me, or that person totally doesn't. So the virtual networking events, or if you find someone, just ask them if they could have. LinkedIn is a great way to connect with people and just say, hey, can we meet via Zoom for a cup of coffee?
Great. And keep the questions coming, guys, as we move on. But the second part of our program today is going to be about fun. So I'll start with a couple of my fun aha moments from being a mentor and a mentee. And it is just, this is what I'm referring to as people are just people. So this was someone who was a CEO of a company, and they said, Jamie, when you step in poo, just keep going until it scrapes off your shoe. And I can remember almost dropping my teeth because I thought, did that person just say that? Because I think you go in feeling like it has to be business and stiff and very professional. And yes, it has to be professional as far as respect. But when he said that, all of a sudden I'm like, okay, this is just like talking to, one of my friends. So, and then when I was a mentor, this is one of my favorite questions, and I still ask this to the day, but I ask people what their walk-up song is, because you can tell a lot about a person based on what kind of walk-up song they would choose. So for those of you who don't know what a walk-up song is, maybe this is old school, and I'm old school, but when you're in the baseball games and they have that music playing as you come up to the plate, that's a walk-up song. So with that, second part of our program is all about fun. While you're in your internship, you want to make sure that you understand everything there is to do in Cedar Rapids and Iowa City area. And that just helps you get more connected to the area. You'll meet more people. And there's no better way to do that when you're having fun. So our next speaker is Katie Ripke. And again, I apologize, I have a long bio. Both these women are very accomplished. So Katie Ripke is the Director of Marketing and Communications for VenueWorks in Cedar Rapids, and is responsible for the overall marketing strategy and event promotion across the 4 Cedar Rapids properties managed by VenueWorks. So that includes Alliant Energy Powerhouse, McGrath Amphitheater, the Paramount Theater, and I'm on Ice Arenas. It's a lot. She's worked in healthcare marketing for 7 years at Mercy Medical Center, and then also in the University of Hospitals and Clinics in Iowa City. Going farther back, she was with New Leader Manufacturing. She graduated from University of Northern Iowa, a degree in public relations and marketing. And Katie, I'm older than you. You say more years than she wishes to admit. It goes fast, guys. It goes really, really fast.
It does.
My daughter listens to music now that's vintage from when I graduated in the 80s. Aside from a brief stint living in Chicago, where she found out she was, in fact, not a big city girl, she has lived in Eastern Iowa for most of her life. She currently resides in sprawling metropolis of Lisbon, 18 miles due east of Cedar Rapids, with her husband Brian and 3 kids. So Kate,
Thank you.
Get away.
Awesome. Well, first of all, I'm super excited to be here. And Jamie's talk was phenomenal. I was taking notes on it. And I just love everything that she had to say. So really take heart to she had some really, really great messages in there for everyone that I wish someone had told me when I was first entering the workforce. Also on that note, I'm happy. I love having coffee. And I'm back out in the world. So if anybody wants to shoot me an email, I am happy to have coffee to talk more about Cedar Rapids and some of the opportunities that might be here. And then another quick plug for opportunities at VenueWorks. Obviously, the live entertainment industry was absolutely decimated by the pandemic, but we are back. Very busy schedule this summer, which means we need to bring new staff on. We had to lay off about 80% of our staff last summer. Most of them have fortunately gone on to find other employment. So if you're getting close to the end of your college career and are going to be looking for full-time employment and are interested in this industry, be checking our website, because there's a couple of jobs, full-time jobs up there right now. We are going to be adding more in the coming weeks, and we'll need to staff up very quickly once we're able to. So as my bio said, I grew up in this area, and I love this area, and I'm fortunate that I had the chance to leave this area and come back to it. There are so many hidden gems of things to do for the quality of life in this area that a lot of people don't know about. It shocks me how many people that live here and have lived here for a long time that don't know about the McGrath Amphitheater, because it's a relatively new venue. It's been in operation since 2014. And a fun tidbit on that, you may have heard about the giant flood we had here in '08. I don't know how many years ago that was. The amphitheater is actually part of the city's flood protection plan. So while it's an amazing venue, where it's just a really fun place to go to concerts, it's also a very important piece of our flood protection plan. Most people that are local here know about the Paramount. You're probably not local. So the Paramount is a very old theater in downtown. It's over on 3rd Avenue. I believe it was built in 1928. I might be a few years off on there. It was originally built by Paramount Pictures, and they showed movies in there. It has been restored a couple of different times during the flood of '08. We actually had 10 feet of water on the stage. And it was completely restored after that. So it's even better than it was prior to the flood. And then the Alliant Energy Powerhouse does have, it's a relatively new name. If you Google it, you might have a little bit of trouble coming to the right. We used to be the US Cellular Center up until that was last October. We switched naming right partners. And that's an arena in downtown Cedar Rapids. For an end stage concert, we can hold about 6,000 people. If it's an event that we can open the whole bowl for, we can hold close to 10,000 people in the arena. And then ICR Arena also has a relatively new name. It was formerly just the Cedar Rapids Ice Arena. It's a little bit out of downtown over near the Colonel's baseball stadium. We have 2 sheets of ice in that facility. The NHL ice hosts the Cedar Rapids Rough Riders, which is our tenant hockey team. They are a USHL hockey team. And the Olympic sheet of ice, we hold a variety of different events on. We actually have a very exciting event coming here that's going to be, I believe, a 5-week event starting in mid-July. It's the USA Roller Sports Championships. So it's like sports like hockey and figure skating, but on roller skates. And they're actually sanctioned by the US Olympic Committee. So that'll actually be a 5-week event with a lot of different things going on. So definitely something really fun to check out. You want me to go into just talking about what we have coming up this summer here? Okay, awesome. So obviously last summer was very, very quiet for us. I got very good at moving shows, canceling shows, rescheduling shows, which is not super fun. The good news is that the dam has broken loose on live events again, concerts, comedy, theater, all of the above. And we are set to have a record-breaking year. Normally at the amphitheater, we have 8 ticketed concerts a year. We're going to be having close to 16 this year. A lot of them happening after July 1st. So it's going to be a very, very busy summer. We do have our first full concert, normal concerts, full capacity, no mass, everything next week at the amphitheater. It's Thursday, July 17th or June 17th, excuse me. I did the math, but I can't remember the exact number of days. I think it's been 639 days since we had a normal concert there. Our last normal concert was Brothers Osborne on August 31st of 2019. So this is a big deal. So that's Lee Rice. It's a country show. And I'm going to just go ahead and share my screen really fast if I can figure out how to do that. Oh, there it is. Okay. Can everybody, hopefully everybody can see this.
Yeah, there it goes. You got it.
So the best place that you can go to find all of the latest concert information in Cedar Rapids, it's our website. It's creventslive.com. And this is all of the events at the four venues that we manage in town. So I'll just scroll quickly down through here and just highlight a few things for some of our big events. Like I mentioned, we have Lee Rice. The following week, we have an event called The Roundup, and this event has been going on for, I think this will be our 33rd year doing this. We've morphed the name. It used to be Barbecue Roundup. We've rebranded it to be The Roundup, focusing more on some nationally touring acts. So this year we have a Blues Brothers tribute, some local openers, Orleans and Pure Prairie League. That's going to be more classic rock. And then on Saturday night, we have a Flock of Seagulls and Men Without Hats. Hopefully Google them if you don't know who they are. They're fun bands. July 2nd, we are kicking off a super busy weekend of music in this town. On Friday, July 2nd, we have Fits in the Tantrums. Saturday, July 3rd, we have REO Speedwagon at the amphitheater, 7 Dust at the Paramount. Then we go into the USA Roller Sports that I mentioned. In July, we have Parker McCullum, Eliza Schlesinger, the Pork Tornadoes, which is a local cover band, but they are one of the most fun bands you will ever see live. So if you're looking for an economical option for entertainment that weekend, definitely check them out. They sell out every time we have them in any of our venues. Going a little bit further, August, we have Foreigner. We have a Christian show, Chris Tomlin, Carrie Job, and Bethlehem Music, Jake Owen. And that's really what we have for this summer. If you're interested in going beyond this summer, definitely check out the website. Let me stop sharing. There we go. And we are announcing, I think next week I have 4 new announcements coming. I know one of them is for this summer. Some of them might be into fall. Definitely go follow our Facebook pages. Each venue has their own Facebook page. That's where you're going to get the latest announcements, and then also sign up for our email list to get all the latest pre-sale information, that type of stuff. It's very busy in terms of announcements. And I do anticipate at least a few more shows being added for yet this summer before we start getting into fall. So if you do come out to any of our events, you can make a night of it very easily. So if you go to a concert at the amphitheater, it's in what we call Kingston Village. There's a bunch of really cool restaurants down there run by fantastic people, local, not chain type restaurants. Go grab dinner there first, come over to the amphitheater. It's right on the river. If you go to a show at the Paramount, there's tons of local great options, both downtown and in Newbo Village, and Czech Village. And then same with the Powerhouse. There's just so many options for things in terms of entertainment, and not a lot of people know this. And one thing I will say about our booking team, we have a fantastic booking team, and some of the acts that we are able to get here, other cities in our at our level of economic status aren't able to get some of the acts that we are able to bring in here. And it's really just a tribute to our booking team and the relationships that they have formed with these agents at the national level and the tours and that type of stuff. So that's kind of in a nutshell what we have going on this summer. Are there any questions before I talk anymore? And you can ask me questions about the industry if you would like, or even just, other fun things to do in this area, or why I like Cedar Rapids, any of that stuff.
I'm going to be going through here and making sure that everybody has the ability to talk. So when you see that, go ahead and ask questions. If you don't want to put them in the chat, you should be able to, in a couple minutes here, be able to speak up.
Hey, Katie, one of the things that I think is way cool about Cedar Rapids is like with the History Center and the tours that you can take down there too.
Yeah.
Like you learn the history about the Paramount more in depth and stuff like that. And I mean, just the knowledge that's able to be shared there. When I moved to Cedar Rapids, I had no idea how amazing of a city we live in. And I just want to see it grow and all that. And I think you guys play a huge part in making sure that you're helping that. So
thank you. Yeah, when I moved back from Chicago, I moved back, I think it was 2007. And it was Cedar Rapids in 2007 is not the same town that it is now. I wish Cedar Rapids was the way it is now back when I was younger, no kids, that type of thing. There are so many great things to do. I mean, the History Center, the museums, Nubo, that type of stuff. And we're always willing, we're very community oriented here. It benefits us for Cedar Rapids to grow. And so anybody that's interested in anything here, if you're interested in the Paramount and the history of that type of stuff, or the history of any of the venues, like I said, the industry, you can email us. We'll do tours sometimes. We have to kind of arrange those in advance, but we're definitely open to helping people learn more about that type of stuff. What outdoor activity and concerts would you recommend, and what would the pricing of them all be? So the pricing is going to vary by concerts. I'm a country girl and I'm super excited. We have a major country concert happening in Cedar Rapids once a month, starting this month through November right now. So I thought by now we'd be cannibalizing ourselves, but people are very excited for that. I'm really excited for Parker McCollum coming next month to the amphitheater. He's an up and coming act. I'm not a person that likes going to big stadium shows. I really like the up and coming acts. They just seem to have more passion. They have something to prove, so they're more engaged with the crowds and that type of stuff. I have not seen Parker live in person yet, but from who I've talked to in the industry, his shows are fantastic. So if you're looking for a new country artist to look at, definitely look at his concert, and his ticket prices are going to be a little bit on the lower end. Now, concerts like REO Speedwagon and Foreigner, I'm also a huge fan of classic rock. I grew up listening to that because that's what my dad listens to. Those ticket prices are a little bit more, but we generally have a price point for everyone. The nice thing at the amphitheater, you can buy reserve seats where we provide the chair. There, those are going to be the better seats, the better view in the house. However, we do have GA lawn seats where you can still see and hear everything fantastic, but you can bring in your own blanket, your own chairs. And those ticket prices tend to be a little bit on the lower level. So ticket prices are just going to vary by the act that comes in and what we have to do to kind of make the numbers work on our end.
I think another thing you're looking at, if you're looking at like outdoor activities too, Cedar Rapids Bike Trail and stuff like that, if people, yeah, and all of that. And
the amphitheater is also part of the bike trail system as well. Sometimes people get a little disappointed because if we're setting up for a concert, we have to block it off. But if you just want to check it out on the bike trail systems, it goes right through the amphitheater. Another show I did want to plug, especially to this crowd, is Fits in the Tantrums. I had not heard of them because, again, I'm more years out from college than I want to admit. But they do have several really big hits. And this is a show that we are very lucky to be able to bring to Cedar Rapids because they typically play larger markets. If you look at their tour, they're not playing any other cities the size of Cedar Rapids. And so and to have them on a Friday night as well is huge. So that's another one to check out if you're looking for something to do over the 4th.
And I, of course, am going to jump in and put a plug in for the farmers markets. Our farmers market is probably one of the larger ones in the region, although we're starting small and we're going to build just because we didn't know a couple months ago, the impact of COVID and how quickly we were going to open up. So we typically have 200 vendors there. We're probably going to start with like 100. But the exciting news is that we're going to have Market After Dark again this year. So that's going to be in September, and that's basically the market at nighttime. So it's open container and there's food trucks and it's just a lot of fun, music and everything. So put my plug in for that. So if you guys want more information on that, you can go to the Cedar Rapids Metro Economic Alliance website and you can find out the dates and everything for that. So
and definitely check out Nubo has a lot of free events on Friday, Saturday nights, stuff on the lawn, that type of thing. I'm kind of talking about my competition here, but hopefully people are still around when this happens, but Luke Bryan just announced that his farm tour is coming to Cedar Rapids Friday, September 10th. Tickets go on sale for that this Friday. I think that the GA tickets are $56 in advance that I saw. So maybe you just love Cedar Rapids so much in September you come back for that, but that'll be a huge economic boost for our community to have a headlining act that big coming here. And again, it just speaks to the fact that we are able to get these type acts that other Cedar Rapids sized communities are not able to bring in. And it's just really a tribute to the economic situation that we have here. The people, the tickets sell, so people are coming for them.
So if you guys have more questions, shoot them along. And if you just don't want to ask those questions right now, I will be sending out some information past this for Katie's presentation. I think you have a link or something that I can send out. So I'll do that to everybody and or for everybody. And then if you have questions, you can always reach out to any of us, all three of us, and ask those. So. And
then sorry, Jamie, didn't mean to cut you off. If you're looking for some unique experiences as well, as mentioned in my bio, I live in a small town called Lisbon. It's 18 miles from here. It's a 18-minute drive straight east on Highway 30. But the small towns that kind of encircle Cedar Rapids, so Mount Vernon, Lisbon, Solon, Anamosa, Center Point, they all have really unique, quaint downtown areas with some really cool experiences. Lots of antique type stores, some really cool wineries. I know in Mount Vernon, there's a spot called The Local, and it's a store for another local winery. It just has a really cool atmosphere, live music, some really cool coffee shops. It's just something different, than what you can find in a more urban setting. So I would definitely, go to Google, look at some of the small towns around here, and just take a drive and see what else that you can find in those areas. I like living in Lisbon because it's a very easy commute for me. It's 18 minutes right to my door every day. So.
Amana as well. I live in Amana, and so
Yeah. Oh, Amana's so cool. Yeah.
And a lot of times that feeds into some of those outdoor activities too. A lot of times they'll have that old Creamery Theater, and they'll have some really fun, like kid-friendly activities and stuff like that. And then there's a nice walking path around a lily pond.
Brand new hotel that is really cool. Yes, really
great.
So.
Bruce Moore is another really great for like the theater type people. A lot of times there's some outdoor theatrical performances happening, right?
Yep. And the Freedom Festival officially kicks off next week. And so they'll have balloon glow, the parade, fireworks will be downtown. While it's the centerpiece is the 4th of July, it starts well in advance of the 4th of July, and they have a lot of really cool things that happen throughout that time frame.
It's a happening place.
There's definitely not a shortage of anything to do in town, that's for sure. I would say that you're actively trying to not find anything to do in the town. Barbecue is happening this year. We have rebranded it as the Roundup, and the new positioning is it's the tastiest music festival in Cedar Rapids. So historically, we focused on the barbecue aspect of it, and the barbecue is fantastic. We bring in barbecue vendors from across the country. So this is barbecue that you don't always get in Cedar Rapids. However, this year, the new thing that we're doing is bringing in some nationally touring acts. And these aren't like the big, arena type acts. They're definitely smaller, but it's a very easy price point. It's a $10 ticket to get into the music park part of the event. To listen to some really good classic rock. There's also a Blues Brothers tribute band that's coming in on Thursday evening. And also fun tidbit about that, they will be in town earlier on Thursday, driving around. I'm not familiar with this movie, so I apologize. The car that they drive around in the movie, The Blues Brothers, with a bullhorn, trying to get people to come down to the event on that Thursday. So I'm going to give them some lists of places to hit up, so watch out for that on Thursday the 24th. So yes, Barbecue Roundup is happening this year.
That's a lot of information from both of you. So we did record this, and we'll have it available for everybody afterwards as well. But I just want to thank everybody again for joining us over a lunch hour when it's this kind of weather outside. I know it's tempting to get out there and enjoy it, and you should. So if you do, like I said, have any questions past the fact, please shoot in my direction or to Jamie or to Katie. We'll get you those answers. But have fun, you guys. This is all about learning, but also just have fun. Your internship years are they're special. We still keep tabs of everybody that we had as an intern here, and it's fun to watch them move in their careers. So just have a good time and meet as many people as you can. So with that, I'll let everybody go. But thank you for being here. Thanks, Katie, and thanks, Jamie.